Main story begins on a gloomy night in an old Russian prison cell. Scientists visited these 5 prisoners to bring them some good news. They promised to set them free if they participated in an experiment.
Anything to get out of here. Excellent. We shall make the immediate arrangements.
Little did they know these prisoners made a deal with the devil. The scientists had invented a type of gas they believed would keep soldiers awake for 30 days without any sleep. So they had to test it. The 5 prisoners were brought to a small chamber with beds but no beddings, dry food, water, books, a toilet, and finally the most important part of the experiment, the gas that could revolutionize the war and make Russian soldiers superhumans. Let us begin the experiment. From the very first day, scientists watched the 5 prisoners through a glass window and listened to them through microphones. At first, it all seemed quite normal. The prisoners were excited to get this done and then be free. But on day 5, with no sleep, things started to change. The experiment subjects started talking to themselves, whispering on the microphones. Some were clearly having hallucinations. On day 9, one of the prisoners ran around the tiny room, screaming on top of his lungs, and didn't stop for even a second until 3 hours later, when he tore his own vocal cords. Surprisingly, the others were so distant that they didn't even react to 3 hours of constant screaming. They were too busy sticking their own faces to the walls. But this was still nothing compared to what happened on day 15. The 5 of them hid in the corners, barely visible through the glass window. It was dark. They also stopped making any sounds. Total silence. Having no other choice, scientists had to open the chamber. But first they warned them not to move and promised to set one of them free.
Please, nobody move. If you follow our orders, we shall set one of you free. Do you understand?
To which one of the prisoners answered,
"We no longer want to be free."
The prisoners got so addicted to the gas that it became all they wanted. After 15 days of no sleep, they started desperately begging for it.
"Please, be free."
The prisoners got so addicted to the gas that it became all they wanted. After 15 days of no sleep, they started desperately begging for it.
"Please, we beg you.
Release the gas.
We will do anything."
When the scientists finally opened the door to see the prisoners better, they saw hell. The prisoners' bodies had mutated to look like this. One was lying on the floor, drowning in his own blood, lifeless. The other 4 were alive, but only partly. With their insane devilish smiles, they were feasting on their own bodies. One ripped his own chest with his bare hands. One had muscles and skin torn out of his own arms and legs. Bones were coming out of his fingers, and organs were out of the others' bodies. In shock, the scientists ran to call soldiers to pacify them, but the prisoners had gone so wild that they couldn't recognize anyone anymore. They ripped out one soldier's throat. Doctors were rushed in immediately to sedate them one by one. One of them bled to death, but the rest still kept on pleading to be given the gas. When the doctors started putting back the missing organs on their bodies, one prisoner wanted them to keep cutting through instead. After this horrific experiment, the remaining 3 prisoners were sent back to the chamber, and the Russian commander instructed 3 scientists to stay and monitor them. But the prisoners' insanity rubbed off on the scientists too. One of them pulled out a gun and shot the commander along with one prisoner. And he asked him, "What are you?" Then came the most chilling part.
"Have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind."